Do you want to know the magic of the calm down spot and how to use it? I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach all over the world about parenting, good communication, how to build strong family bonds, child development, and calmness, all through the lens of the principle self-government. And in this video, we're talking about the calm down spot and how to use it. In this video, we're going to talk about punishments and triggers and the calm down spot and how to help use the calm down spot to get your child to choose to be calm. You heard me correctly. Calmness is a choice. In fact, that's one of the main underlying principles of being a self-governed person, is that it's actually a choice. It's not something that just happens to you, and you can't choose it for anybody else either. This means that if your children are calm, they chose to be calm, or they went through like a chemical calm that, just happened to them, because we do have some chemicals that can change the things in our brains sometimes. But if we are at a place where we're not calm and then suddenly we chose it. We picked it for whatever reason. It's important to understand. A lot of people wonder how to punish young children or children that maybe are a little bit cognitively younger. How do we help them get regulated when they're becoming dysregulated? How do we help them stop being violent, like biting and hitting and all those kinds of things? What should it be like? Well, I'll tell you what it should not be like. It should not feel like fear or intimidation. It should not feel like anger or isolation. Now, I know a lot of people use isolation for young children. It's very common. It's been around for a long time, where people will put others into their room or into a corner, or I know my mom would put me on a chair in a corner. Sometimes even in schools, they have isolation rooms for really extreme behaviors with some students. And I do know that sometimes to keep people safe, there might be a time when a person has to be isolated. But if a child is just being angry, disrespectful, emotional, whiny, that does not mean that they need to be isolated and removed from people. In fact, sometimes that can create even more extreme behavior. Instead, they need teaching, they need direction, they need skill development, and it all starts with calmness. You can't teach a person self-government if that person isn't actually calm. If the person is in the wrong part of their brain, they're just going to emotionally react to everything that happens to them or is said to them. But if we can get them to be in their front brain, their calm brain, then they can start to look at their problems and think through the solutions to their problems better. When a toddler is screaming, whining, tantruming, going out of control, they are feeling like they need some help, some structure, some foundation to solve their problem. They don't know where to go to solve the problem. This is where the parents need to come in and help them learn a pathway to calmness. I'm a firm believer in creating calm plans. I think a parent should have a calm plan. I think a child should have a calm plan. I think even children at school should have a calm plan. I think everyone needs to know, if I feel myself getting dysregulated, what am I going to do? And it needs to be a plan that is easy to execute, that does not require going off by yourself or doing anything dangerous or isolating for long periods of time. Instead, the person should know what thoughts they need to think and a place that they need to go so that they can think the thoughts and get ready. That is what the calm down spot is all about. When I raised my children, I decided I was not going to use a timeout. I did not like the idea of isolating my child somewhere or making them have to sit somewhere for a certain period of time. I have to thank a friend of mine. I went over to their house one day and she put her son in a timeout. He was whining about something. I don't remember what. And then she told him to go sit in a timeout. And then she came back downstairs and talked to me for another like 45 minutes. The boy never came back, and she never went to the boy. I started wondering what was happening to this little boy. Well, I had to use the restroom. I went to the upper level of their house to go to the restroom, and there was the little boy asleep on the timeout spot in the hallway. It kind of broke my heart. At that time, my children were very young, and I decided then and there, I'm not using a timeout. Because this timeout basically just meant that the mother put the child somewhere and then didn't handle things with the child, didn't do the teaching. It was a type of abandonment that was not okay, in my opinion. The child needed some skill development and didn't get it. So instead, I decided that when my children were going out of control, that I would take them to a place we called the calm down spot, and that they would know if they got calm on the way to the calm down spot, or when they were in the calm down spot, then they could leave the calm down spot and we would have a teaching moment. We would talk with them about what happened, what should have happened, and then they would get the opportunity to earn like a little extra chore that would be age appropriate. That was their consequence. The calm down spot wasn't a consequence, it was just a trigger spot to remind them that they could choose to be calm. We practiced the calm down spot ahead of time, before it was ever time to go to that calm down spot. This decreased the anxiety, increased predictability, and helped them understand what it would be like if they needed to go to the calm down spot. We practiced stuffed animals going to the calm down spot, mommy and daddy going to the calm down spot, so that they could see people go to the calm down spot and then they immediately get calm. Then someone comes and gives them a big hug and a high five, and then they just talk about it. And talking about it is okay. And then when they get the opportunity to earn a little extra chore and accept their consequence, they're usually okay with that too. Because here's a little secret about small children and toddlers. They actually usually like doing some work. They think it's fun to accomplish a new task. Here's a few tips at making a good calm down spot. Have it be in a public place in your house. So a place where you as the parent are going to be on a regular basis, because you don't want to be out of the area. If you walk away, they could walk away too. Now I know that there's some people who say, but what if my child does walk away, they run off, they won't stay there, what do I do? I don't have time to address that on this video. I talk about that on my Teaching Self-Government support group, which I highly recommend. You can find that at teachingselfgovernment.com. Just for the sake of right now, keep it in a public space so that you can keep an eye on it. Make sure that you pre-teach ahead of time what you're going to do with that space and that that space will always exist. Don't answer the phone or the door during the time that somebody is at the calm down spot, because you might forget they're there and then you won't do the teaching. They need to see as soon as they are calm that you will go to that spot and you will do the teaching that's required, that you will acknowledge that they chose to get calm. That's the whole point of the calm down spot, is to make sure that they know they chose to get calm. As soon as you see them choose it, you've got to tell them, great job, you chose to be calm. You picked it right now. High five. Big hug. Let's talk about what happened that led us up to going to this calm down spot in the first place. Then you're going to practice doing things the right way. Those role play practices are key. A young person, well, any person really, but especially young people, need more opportunity pre-teaching doing things the right way than actually being corrected when things go the wrong way. If they have more experience doing things the right way than the wrong way, then they'll more likely choose the right way next time. To help you use the calm down spot consistently, I highly recommend watching my next video, which is how to create emotional safety for little children at home. I'll see you on that video next.